The remnants of a living human were placed inside a mechanical robot, which made him the perfect policeman. This is the movie RoboCop, and it will bring you the fondest memories. TV news host Pat Novak tells Americans that it is better to use robots rather than human beings to protect law and order. To prove it, a live broadcast shows a military operation in Tehran. Numerous robots restore order in the city. They demand locals to come out of their homes with their hands up and scan each person. Local militias refuse to live under US control and initiate a gunfight. A fierce battle begins between the people and robots. Militiamen use explosives and jump on the robots right from the rooftops. In response, they eliminate every human with a weapon in their hands, regardless of gender or age. Pat Novak interrupts the live broadcast and confidently declares that the future of the USA is impossible without the usage of such robots. In the next scene, we see a police officer named Alex Murphy. He goes to his boss Karen Dean in order to discuss with her the details of an operation to catch the dangerous criminal Antoine Vallon. He was smuggling weapons while Murphy and his partner Jack pretended to be illegal buyers. Alas, the operation didn't go according to plan. Since Vallon suspected something, a gunfight ensued and Jack was seriously wounded. The chief of police asks Murphy not to take any action himself, but the policeman is sure that there are traitors amongst the police and is not going to listen to her. Meanwhile, the CEO of Omnicop, Raymond Sellers, is holding a meeting in Washington. He proposes using his robots instead of live police officers in the US to save more lives. However, Senator Dreyfus signs an act prohibiting the use of robots because they are emotionless, which means they can be unpredictable and even dangerous. Then, the Omnicop executives are planning to create a revolutionary technology, which allows placing a living person inside a robot. Thanks to this, the machine will be able to use the human brain and therefore will experience emotions. For example, people with robotic prosthetics instead of hands can play the guitar because the brain gives them the desired movements. Sellers turns to the brilliant scientist Norton for help. He asks for his help to create a robot with a human brain. Alex Murphy turns out to be right. Two corrupt police officers from his team meet with Vallon, and the man orders them to eliminate Murphy. While he is visiting Jack in the hospital, one of the gangsters attaches an explosive device to Alex's car. Meanwhile, the Omnicop employees are reviewing the personal files of the police officers who could be used in the new project. Yet, all of them are either in poor physical shape, mentally challenged, or psychologically unstable. Murphy returns home, puts his son to bed, and decides to spend time with his beloved wife Clara. Alas, at the most responsible moment, a car alarm goes off. The policeman goes outside to figure out what happened. As he approaches the car, an explosive device detonates. Dr. Norton explains to Clara that Alex's injuries are almost incompatible with life, as he has fourth-degree burns all over his body. Even if the man survives, he will remain paralyzed, deaf and blind on one eye. The doctor suggests that Clara authorizes the use of Murphy's body for the Omnicop project. This will save his life. However, no one knows what his new life will be like. 3 months pass. Alex is in a coma and has a dream in which he is dancing with his wife. Scientists decide to finally wake him up. The man regains consciousness in the body of a cyborg. Norton tries to explain to him that it is the only way to save his life. Murphy studies his new body with astonishment and takes a few steps. He demands the scientists to take off the metal suit, after which he gets very nervous and wants to leave the lab. Alex makes his way outside and finds numerous robots there. He jumps over a huge wall and runs across a large field, but at that moment, Norton shuts him down. Alex regains consciousness in the lab, and the scientists once again ask the man to accept his new reality. Murphy wants to see what's left of his body. It turns out to be just his head, a few internal organs, and a right hand. Moreover, even part of his brain had to be transplanted. Alex is horrified by what he sees. He asks Norton to take him off the life support. The scientist is adamantly opposed. He explains to Murphy that it was his wife and son's decision. After much deliberation, Alex eventually agrees agrees to give life in a new body a try. He calls his wife and they both struggle to hold back tears. Murphy's organic parts are injected with essential proteins, fats, minerals and carbohydrates, as well as a portion of antidepressants. Before long, OmniCop military strategist Rick Mattox is training Alex in combat tactics. The man has spent half his life training robots and now doubts that a machine with an organic element can be a good warrior. He ironically calls Alex the Iron Lumberjack. The first test begins. It is a simulated battle with various robots. Alas, Alex doesn't cope well, as he throws all his efforts at saving people, and therefore falls behind schedule and fails the operation. Later, Murphy finds out that Valen has been cleared of all charges, and becomes furious at these news. Sellers asks Norton to upgrade Alex to make him more agile. The scientists argue with the corporate ladder, explaining that the robot will still feel and act like a human. To fix this, Norton makes some adjustments to Alex's mind, and also changes him into black armor. The upgraded Murphy is sent to another training. The test is a success. Using his new abilities, Alex easily defeats an entire group of robots. His reaction speed is incredible. The opponents don't stand a chance. Alex goes to visit his wife and son. Clara cuddles against his iron body, and his son also touches the father's metal body with interest. Murphy goes to the police station where he once worked and meets his former partner Jack. He declares that he will continue the case of Valen and his gang. Jack is delighted by this decision. The leaders of OmniCorp are about to give a press conference and introduce their new technology called RoboCop to the country. Norton uploads a database of US criminals into Alex's brain, but Murphy gets too nervous during the uploading process. Witnessing the spot where his car was blown up and he himself was nearly killed, the cop immediately has a seizure and passes out. Norton realizes that it has happened because of an emotional overload, and lowers Alex's dopamine levels to 2%. Thus, the protagonist turns into a machine, completely deprived of any emotions. Alex heads to the conference, ignoring his wife and son who have come to visit him. He scans each person in the crowd, finds a dangerous criminal Thomas King amongst the people, and immediately arrests him. The audience is excited. Bet Novak shows footage from the arrest scene on the news, and confidently declares that technologies like RoboCop guarantee justice in the country and an effective fight against criminals. Alex arrives at his police station again, and heads to see Chief Karen Dean. He states that he is going to capture 13 dangerous criminals. Jack is willing to talk to him, but Murphy ignores him and walks away. RoboCop gets on his bike and races around the city looking for a criminal named John Briggs. He finds one of his sidekicks, clarifies the location of the villain, arrives at his base and attacks all the criminals including Briggs himself. Alex doesn't leave a single person alive. People at OmniCorp are satisfied with the result, and only Norton is not pleased with such news, because RoboCop behaves too inhumanely. Bet Novak goes on air with another newscast. He brags again about RoboCop's accomplishments and invites OmniCorp's CEO Sellers and Senator Dreyfus into the studio. The men argue on the subject of robots. Dreyfus is still against using robots, but Sellers proves that RoboCop alone has reduced crime in the city by 80%. And if there are more such robots, there won't be any criminals left at all. Valen meets with some corrupt cops. They assure the villain that the situation is under control, and RoboCop won't be able to catch him. OmniCorp employees discuss what to do with Alex's wife Clara. The issue is that the woman chases RoboCop all over the city and demands that he visit his son. The boy doesn't get on well at school and has nightmares all the time. Alex asks his wife not to interfere with his work. Despite this, RoboCop still reviews the CCTV footage and realizes that his son has serious mental problems. He is under constant stress and avoids people. Murphy turns his bike around and drives to his house. There, he simulates the situation with the car explosion on that fateful night. This scene makes him experience extreme stress and immediately restores the required level of dopamine in his brain. Alex is no longer a soulless machine, but a living human being. RoboCop gets on his bike again and rushes to find the suspect Antoine Vallon. Murphy realizes that he is the one who organized the explosion. RoboCop finds one of Valen's accomplices, pulls him out of the car, hurts him badly, and finds the location of the main villain's base. The protagonist heads there and deals with absolutely all the bandits, including Valen himself. The criminals try to fight back, but they have no chance against such speed, endurance and strength. RoboCop investigates the crime scene and finds the fingerprints of several corrupt cops from his department on the weapon. He immediately gets there and shows everyone the evidence against the corrupt cops. One of them tries to use a gun and is immediately sent to the afterlife, while the other one confesses that Police Chief Karen Dean is responsible for the whole thing, after which he gets tasered. RoboCop goes to his chief and demands that she confesses to all the crimes. Alas, that's when Maddox shuts Alex down and immediately informs Sellers of the incident. Pat Novak states on his show that RoboCop helped to find the traitors in the police department, but he is now in critical condition. Senators are willing to oppose Dreyfus's opinion and authorize the mass use of robots on the streets of United States. Alex's wife Clara is also featured on the news. She complains that Omnicop doesn't allow her and her son to see her husband and suspects that something illegal is being done to him. Sellers is afraid that RoboCop will find out too much and orders Maddox to eliminate him. However, Alex is unexpectedly rescued by Norton. He sneaks into the lab past the armed guards, turns on RoboCop and confesses to him that Omnicop is going to get rid of him. Alex immediately gets on his motorcycle and goes to confront Sellers. Clara and her son are also meeting with Sellers at that time. The man lies to her that Alex had a nervous breakdown and breached protocol, after which he became unrecoverable. Sellers goes live with the sad news, but immediately gets a message from Maddox that RoboCop is on his way to see him. The entire building is immediately shut down, and Clara along with her son are not allowed out. Sellers decides to escape from RoboCop by helicopter and take the woman with him, so she doesn't accidentally see her husband alive. Alex breaks into the Omnicop's headquarters and immediately gets into a heavy fight with the numerous robot guards. Some of them look like huge metal chickens, and it's incredibly hard to fight them. RoboCop takes some serious damage. At that moment, when the robots are about to finish him off, Jack shows up to distract them. Thanks to this, RoboCop manages to get away. On the roof, Sellers lies to Clara that Alex's organic part died, while his mechanical part malfunctioned and is now initiating a shootout in the office. RoboCop also goes up to the roof, but encounters Maddox on his way. Murphy wants to eliminate the enemy, but he can't do so, as Maddox has a bracelet tagging him as a red asset, which prohibits robots from harming him. Alex is furious, but can't go against his program. Maddox is about to destroy RoboCop, but our hero is saved one more time by Jack, who puts a bullet in Maddox. Alas, the faithful partner himself gets seriously wounded. RoboCop scans Jack and realizes that the wound is not fatal. Afterward, he goes up to the roof, spots his wife and son and wants to arrest Sellers, but he also has a red acid bracelet. The leader of Omnicop is about to finish RoboCop off. At that point, Alex uses all his power and human emotion to disrupt the programming. He manages to bypass the protocol and fires a bullet at Sellers. Alas, in doing so, Sellers also manages to inflict critical damage to RoboCop, and the protagonist falls on the floor alongside his enemy. Before passing out, Alex manages to promise his wife and son that everything will be fine. Dr. Norton restores Alex's body and his original armor. Clara and David visit him, causing something resembling a smile to appear on RoboCop's face. Pat Novak during his show announces that the president has made a decision to not use robots for law enforcement in the United States yet. The host is furious and berates Dr. Norton live on air for testifying against the Omnicop. He hopes the authorities will change their mind at some point. Do you think we'll use such robots in the future? Your likes and subscriptions are the best reward for our hard work. This was the Movie Cat. I'll see you later.